Alright, so what we've got here, got a firing up around a high efficiency farming simulator. I've already sold everything off, maxed out the loan, and I've got over 700 sheep producing wool for the farm. So basically, at this point, we're set for making a fair bit of money in game. Alright, oh yeah, last thing I was doing was a bit of mowing, because we're actually low on grass. Yeah, feeding troughs and they've got 1,000 grass in it. 1,000 litres isn't really enough. So it's now a mowing simulator. So basically, selling everything off, that gives me enough cash for basically all this gear, front mower, the trailer, well basically the best forage trailer you can get, the triple axle chrome. And this is all just playing vanilla titanium edition on the US maps, so we've got the mega sized fields. So basically, a pretty good tractor, 132,000 for the tractor. Just got the pallet fork for loading wool on board. Good tractor because you get 32 miles an hour, so it's a pretty good starting position. I flat the original crop with it, didn't even bother hauling that in because it's a waste of time for the amount of money. And we've just got everything invested into trailer and sheep. Basically at this point I've already hauled in enough wool, already paid for about 2/3 of the sheep. This amount of grass that I'm picking up, I should get quite a substantial amount of wool. So part of this is basically, I don't like spending huge amounts of hours to get to all the best gear in the game. I also don't like completely cheating, so not cheating, playing within the rules, but basically this is quite a method for producing quite a bit of money quite quickly. So basically picked up about 14,000 litres of grass, which should nicely top things up for my 700 odd sheep. Basically disconnect all this stuff, get the maximum time acceleration. So basically, this sort of starts about the best start you can get in the game. One of the things I worked out is the amount of money per grass. About 1,000 litres produces a full bale of wool. As you can see, it's been made over here. It's about 1,000 litres turning to about 10,000, which is basically, if you're on easy and doing biogas plant, you get about 1,000 litres and make about 1,600 cash. So this is actually a way, way, way better situation. It's also relatively quick. Of course, I've had a bit of fun with the wool bales with my terrible handling skills. Using the cheap bale trailer. The trailer's worth about $3,600. It's basically about the best thing for loading pallets of wool. Unless you end up loading the pallets of wool like I do. Which is a huge amount of clumsiness resulting in upside down bales sticking through the ground. Which I managed to right that one. It's got a lot more wool on it once you actually stop it from clipping through the ground plane. As with 120 times time acceleration, things do actually cycle through days pretty quickly. Have an earlier go of making this video, trying to make this work, but I had a few technical issues loading my trailer, which was exceedingly comical, but rather embarrassing, so probably best that you didn't see that. So yeah, I'm going to try to load up this blue bale trailer. My first attempts were a nightmare, and I think I was taking about 4 bales at a time. So far I got 3 with a bit of room. I've seen people in the Farm Simulator forum actually load up to about 10 on it, but I'm afraid I'm just not that neat when it comes to things like that. A little bit slack. Better switch on the lights. Seeing it's already past 9 o'clock. Yeah, it took about 60-70 minutes to actually settle this up. Selling all the gear to the shop, so you get the extra 20%. Borrowing all the money, that did actually take a little while to do. And buying equipment, moving it in place, it took a little while, but probably the main thing about the productivity on this is, you're doing the sheep farming, and basically it took about 5 minutes worth of gathering grass to have enough to actually produce, I think it was about 9 pallets of wool, which is what got me up to the current balance of 83,000. I'd sort of turned all of the spare cash into sheep. And once I sold some bales, I also got some more sheep. So you can see where I'm actually at. Sheep 774. I think when you first start, probably got enough cash for about 300 if you literally sell everything that you start with on this US map. There are other easier ways to set up to make money, which is by you go into the classic mods, and you buy the Shooter 1500 TVL. It's basically nice cheap $37,000 tractor that will basically see you right for a good chunk of the game. It's a great little tractor. Then you stick basically the front and back lawn mowing attachments on, and then at that point you're actually set. You know, because this is easy mode, you get twice the money of normal mode, and if you use the Schuler to do that, you will basically be able to make about, I think it's something like about 30,000 per baseball diamond lawn mowing mission. I'll see if that's loaded on correctly. Oh, there we go. It's probably about the best bale loading I've done. It's 5 bales loaded. It's almost 50,000 worth. Problem at this point is probably need about $500,000 to set up, maybe 600,000. So that's the only drawback of what I'm doing, but that should get me field 15, which on the map is field 16 is your starting one. I hate that little field, it's too small. Saving up money for field 15, it's about $250,000. It's a good field. Gonna need some pretty significant equipment to farm that as well. So yeah, this really is a bit of a cash raising episode. Like one of the things I noticed with a lot of the videos that are online at the moment, Titanium Edition doesn't, it hasn't really received a lot of attention. It's received some attention, and then people just didn't really make major use of it. It's probably because I think the game I played doing missions and doing farming, I think it was about 50 hours before I got all the best equipment to actually farm with. And I like doing the big scale type of farming. So I find that to be quite a bit of fun. Alright, we've got fog in the morning. I'm going to switch down the time acceleration, don't really need it. I'm going to take these 6 bales in. Not very neatly loaded, I know, but you should have seen my first attempts with upside down bales, sticking through the ground, and the trailer operating on 2 wheels only because of some of the weird physics going on. Probably the other thing is with my previous map, it wasn't doing too well in terms of audio. You could hardly hear what I was saying, so I've sort of abandoned that one because audio quality is not really up to my standard. Yeah, this trailer was 6 bales on it. Not going very fast uphill. Other thing I've noticed, I've gone through half of the grass that I'd mowed. So I might have to do a big lawn mowing mission so I can get all this wool together. It's not the most exciting, but hey, this is sheep farming for massive profits. I think when I first started playing Farming Simulator, the most crippling thing was actually just trying to get enough money to get through regular farming, just to actually buy some nice equipment. See all that nice equipment in the shop? Can't afford any of it. That's what I'm showing you here. If you do this, you'll be able to afford an awful lot of fancy farm equipment. So for about 80 minutes worth of farming, including that about 50 minutes of setup, just trying to get a standard, starting game on easy mode, set up like this, I'm up to 140,000. Go goes much faster without all that 6 bales loaded on there. So it's time to turn it back into lawn mowing simulator. Before I move too much, let's actually see what I'm actually going to pick up in terms of equipment. This tractor's perfectly fine for everything I'm doing. Oh, I did get that tipper, 21,000 litre tipper, had enough money for it, and it was perfect for unloading the 6 silos and cashing them in. But yeah, that's all the equipment that you get when you sell everything. Loan everything out and get 700 odd cheap. It's not a lot of gear. But the field's about 250,000. I will need... I can keep using this tractor. So I suppose what we'll do, I'll just get onto machine type. I need a harvester, so I've got at least having 230k for a harvester. Got a tipper, I'm not too worried. Cultivator would be useful. Or just a straight up good quality seed drill. It's about 26,000. Yeah, for about 500,000 I could actually set this up. That's not too bad. So I need another 360,000. That's an awful lot of grass I gotta get. There's one benefit with time acceleration is the grass does actually grow back pretty quickly. Not that this is actually an issue on the US map because there's a huge amount of grass. There's so much to mow, it's not funny. But yeah, just like I say, just on raw numbers, when you actually look at biogas plant, which is how a lot of people try to cash up, 1,000 litres is worth 1,600 on easy mode, which just go on easy mode if you don't want to grind heaps. It's the least grind. All normal and hard do is just make more grind for the game. Everything takes longer, you get less money. It's, from my perspective, not that much fun. I just want to drive around in cool equipment doing farming things, which, I can do this sheep farming stuff because it raises good money. Just chill out mowing these lawns. So I think what I'll be doing is I'll probably, let's see, a full load of this trailer. There's probably about 500,000's worth of wool generation anyway, so it's probably heaps if I do that. So I think I'm just gonna keep mowing lawns with this thing until it's full, and that should be able to set me up for a decent amount of crops. Yeah, 1,000 litres generating about 10,000. That's exceptional. It's better than, say, just taking the grass and dumping it where you only get per 1,000 litres. I think we get something like about $200 per 1,000 litres versus 10,000 or almost 10,000. So yeah, this is definitely one of the most efficient ways to do things. And the drawback is having to pick up those pallets, load them onto a bale trailer and move them. It's a genuine problem. It's not exactly a great way of doing things. for starting out, getting decent equipment, it's a good way to go. Where I want to take this later on, later in the series, is I'll probably end up selling the sheep, so I'll get some cash back. Start looking at dairy farming, because basically once you've got a dairy farm up and running, everything past that point is just automated. So instead of unloading pallets, the milk just is automatically picked up by the milk truck when it does its run. So what I'll probably look at doing once I've got the field running, I should have enough productivity to do a basic sort of dairy setup. Like, you don't need all the fancy equipment to have a dairy farm operating. All you need is literally straw and grass, and you can get 44% efficiency. So you don't need any fancy feeding gear, you don't need silage, no mixing wagons, nothing, just none of it's needed. Until you want to crank up to 100% efficiency, but by that point you should have raised enough money. So your dairy can be quite profitable if you do it the easy way rather than the hard way. There's quite a few videos I've seen where, don't actually show just a nice easy way to run a dairy farm. Just consider the size of this US map and how much lawn I can mow. It's much better than the starting German map that I used to use. The map's cool and all, but if you wanted to do lawn mowing for silage or lawn mowing for anything, you pretty quickly used up a lot of the usable grass. Saying that I wasn't doing sheep farming, so I wasn't having nearly the dollars per 1,000 litres that I've got in this game. Better strategies, better ways of playing. A wonderful withered crop. For a few minutes of driving around, already up to 18,000 litres. Still not enough. So I suppose when I eventually show silage and show the weird colours that silage has on the US map, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Well, hay I should say. It's just the strangest graphical choices, I don't know what they're doing. At least one thing I've noticed, grass doesn't look quite as dead as what it used to. Maybe they have fixed some of that up in patches. Another thing with this basic sheep setup, this forage trailer is basically good for picking up straw as well as grass. Basically you can run a dairy farm off the straw you pick up of say a wheat crop, and all you do is forage it, dump it in the farm. You don't need any of the baling equipment. I think that's one of the mistakes that quite a few people made, because nothing's really explained in this game. You've got to sort of figure out all the mechanics for yourself or look things up, and even then things aren't exactly crystal clear. It's not the clearest game in the world for doing this sort of thing, for learning easily and quickly without spending a whole heap of money to discover that you can't make any money off the equipment you bought because you're missing a vital piece of equipment. All sorts of fun. There's a dairy farm in the distance. This is the end of field 15, which we want right here. This is definitely a good field, this one. Very useful. Dairy farm's a bit boring, there's no cows in it, but hey, that's the way it goes. Biogas plant. Got a few plans for this series as I get more cash coming in. We'll have to do some big crops. Have to get the dollars rolling, get some nice equipment. Basically get a few fields ticking over. Found last time I'd sort of picked out this map. I was basically producing so many sugar beets and potatoes and everything else that it was actually getting quite difficult to sell the crops within the allotted time. So I've got some techniques that I'm about to show you on how to actually deliver huge volumes of crops so that you can actually cash in. You know, it's one thing to farm 1.5 million potatoes, but if you can't cash them in time, it's actually sort of, you know, you're missing some of that profit potential. Well, at that point, you know, you can easily be earning huge multi-millions in the game. So part of this is I really want people to actually, you know, before they get bored and, you know, can't get the equipment that they want, or they're struggling to get the equipment that they want, rather show you a way to make enough money quickly in game so that you can get that fancy equipment and do lots of different things. There's a lot of cool things to do. Some people are big on just chilling out in the game and, you know, not getting too worried about these things, but I do like making the large dollars in the game. You know, you can do the solar panel approach by some, you know, you can cash out everything, you know, and just run up on time accelerate and just keep buying solar panels until you've got a massive fortune, but it just doesn't seem the same. It doesn't seem like you've sort of work to make things happen. Making an efficient use of that work's pretty important. What I'm doing, because I'm up to 30,000 metres of grass, so it's sort of getting close to that point where I've probably got enough. Actually keep ticking over, so I'm just going to keep mowing this field at the moment. And the trailer's starting to get reasonably full, but still only 38,000. To be over about 40,000, and I think that'd be easily enough. In the meantime, I want to keep the sheep actually running while I'm doing crop stuff. It's got all the gear together. And saying that, I could probably, if you wanted to do the most basic setup on the field, you could buy the cheap harvester, cheap sewer for, very little, but really, while you're using time acceleration for the sheep, you actually want to have things planted quickly, because you don't want time acceleration while you're planting crops. It's hugely, that can be a disaster, because you can have all your crops ripening at all different times. It's just more efficient to have them all ripen at once. I'm gonna make my way back to the sheep farm. Got almost 42,000. Should have plenty by the time I get there. So yeah, well, this is a tad boring. It's even worse if you do this to biogas, because you're going to need more than one load of this trailer to blanket a silo. And you need at least 2/3 of the silo full, so that's about 60,000 at least. But if you cash that in with a front end loader, 60,000 is only about 96,000 cash. Whereas for my tiny little bit of mucking around, I've produced way more than that. Biogas is good later when you've got more efficient ways to fill those silos, but save that for later on in the series. So yeah, would have liked to have shown you all the start, but due to my inexperience and some of the mess I made of the audio, I just sort of abandoned uploading that video. It's just not good enough. You won't be able to hear enough for it to be functionally useful. Wow, this is pretty full now. Well, I can hold a lot more than this, but 45,000 grass, yeah, that's us pretty well set. Alright, let's feed these suckers. Doesn't look like 774 sheep, but that's what the numbers actually are. Let's move this. Sheep are going to be overflowing with grass to eat. The head's already buried in all that. Tons of fresh grass, there you go. Time acceleration's back on, so I'll start picking up more wool. Lights now. Another good thing about this, it's not affected by rain or bad weather. There's any bad, there's some hail in 4 days. At the rate this goes through with 120 times acceleration, not much of a worry. So yeah, definitely at this point of the game things are asset poor, but we've only got a few things to do, so like I say, this is pretty chilled out. Probably number one thing with this wall, wait until its 2006 bales is not full. 2000 wall, and your sheep statistics that is full. You do want it to cap out each time. Just makes your loads of wool just that much more efficient. Just that cash per time doing things, rather important. I've definitely gotten a lot better loading these pallets. Used to be so bad, I'd knock them over and things would fall off, and oh god, it's actually embarrassing. Try to make some videos showing people how to do stuff, and all we end up doing is showing people how to do stuff badly. But yeah, this is hugely profitable. It's probably going to take... Oh, train station's ready for corn. Oh, I've got no corn. Yeah. I do like this tractor. It's actually a real decent tractor. It's a great way to start the game. Number of times I've played and been struggling to have decent equipment, and you end up buying some terrible Lamborghini hobby tractor. It's neat that it's Lamborghini and all that, but when you need something that'll haul grunty trailers, especially this US map, everything you do, the scale is actually, you've got huge potential. When you buy some of the biggest fields, you can haul in massive crops. When you're selling several million worth of crop, every harvest, it's pretty serious stuff. But by that point, you've pretty well broken the game. It's just whatever you want to do. Then you can spend all your time doing tractor stunts and crashing things, getting all your tractors stuck together with your mates. I think there's also a point where we've got so much equipment that sometimes you're just better off doing multiplayer. It's the only way you can make use of all the money and the equipment. If you're using all the fields, it's actually, at least what I've found is it's a bit of a struggle to use all the fields when you're just one person. You do it and get some crop rotation going on. But it's definitely okay, so as soon as I dropped it on the trailer, it's actually locked in place. I did not know that. Yeah, it's a great thing about that bale trailer. The bales do lock in place when they're sitting down, unless you do something stupid. If you tip the trailer up and do some crazy crashes, and what happens, all of the bales go free and they just start flying around. And if you're lucky, they'll actually sit on the trailer and lock in place again, but often you can have a whole load just tip all over the road, and it's a disaster. Trying to recover from a crash with a bale trailer, not really where you want to be. Saying that, I'll probably have some sort of disaster once I try to load more than 4 bales onto this trailer. Create some sort of disaster. That's what I'm good at. was a very strange way to load things. 5 bales. Gonna see if I can get 8 bales, but I'm not holding my breath on that. Probably if you start doing this, if you've not done pallet loading, not used to the controls, yeah, it can be a little bit challenging. Probably one of the things is take your time, and it's all a rush with the 120 times time acceleration, but you know, it's certainly so much you can do in the amount of time. You know, I've got 700 odd sheep, which is fine. If you have 3,000, 6,000 sheep, you can be tuning out the pallets full of wool so fast that you will struggle to keep up. See, that doesn't really worry me too much. I'm not worried about being in that sort of position. It's a little bit interesting. So I'm fighting with existing bales on the trailer. Oh, that's not what I was planning on doing. Make that a little bit interesting because you can spear both pallets. Ooh. Because you can carry 2 pallets on the forks, they're just long enough to do that. Which means it looks like I can adjust things on the trailer, which is cool. I like that. But yeah, you know, you think about that, that is 6 pallets worth, it's almost 60,000 got loaded on there. What have we been doing? That's a better yield than trying to harvest some crops. You know, harvesting crops in that little field and then using like, you know, old harvester and it taking forever and all that sort of nonsense. It's actually a bit of a, it's a very painful, slow process waiting for fields to be sown and then harvested, and then you're running around with trailers just to produce a tiny little amount of you could just load pallets that are worth quite a substantial amount. There we go. Wow, I've actually got 7 loaded. Bouncing around now. This is the sort of fantastic physics that I love in the Giants game engine. I hope that doesn't mean that they will go flying as soon as I try to cash in these pellets. We'll get number 8 going on here. Well, down to 46,000, 40 in the feeding trough. That's ooh. Whoa. Ooh, I'm only just balanced like that. I'm gonna carry pellets on that. Just about need a weight on the back. No. Uh-oh. So yeah, now I've shown you how to mess things up. That's how you recover from it. You can actually get the pellet into. Ooh, there we go. ticking over while I'm loading the last pallet. Now hopefully all of those are locked in place. Just lower this down so I don't tip up easily. You definitely don't want the forks high because it makes your vehicle rather top heavy and unstable. Not where you want to be. Whoa, the suspension on this trailer is sitting pretty low. Look at that. Similar top speed as before. I was just sort of bouncing around a bit, which is not really a good look. I just don't want them to decide to unlock from the trailer and go flying. So I'd have almost 80,000 worth of bales lying all over the road. Difficult to pick up in place. Freaking nightmare. This is the problem. You know, the more bales you load on, the heavier the trailer is. I think with 6 bales I could go 13 mile an hour up the hill. Now I'm going 8 or 9. With 8, things are heavy. We're on 138,000 at the moment. Whoa. Just about to tip over the whole trailer. Nice. Let's just clip through the trailer. Brilliantly done. So we've gone from 138,000 to 214,000. Farming your field 16 is not going to produce money like that. So 76,000 of 8 pallets, just like that. Acceleration back on. Just getting that pallet off, lowering the forks enough so I can just slide them out without taking the pallet bag off. So yep, first it's grass mowing simulator, then it's forklift simulator. Let's actually have some of this gear. meter, which is the ideal one. For the basic crops, it's 155,000. I don't think I can afford that right now. It's really the ideal that you want to head towards is being able to keep 2 workers going at all times, so that may be 2 guys planting 1 field, 2 workers planting a field, or 2 workers planting 2 separate fields. Much better way of doing things. Just improved amazingly at loading pallets on. I used to be so amazingly bad at this. I can hardly believe I'm up to 3rd pallet already. It's the thing. Yeah, that grass and mode is just producing a huge amount of wool. Yeah, it's sort of, I've done huge amounts of lawn mowing in this game just for the biogas plant. Oh, it's nightmarish. You try to fill up a silo because it'll yield you, just about $1 million for a full silo, I believe. But, it's just, especially at the start of the game when you don't actually have a huge amount of fields, or you don't have a grass field to actually use. Because that's the thing, once you've got a grass field and a decent Krone lawnmower, you can produce huge volumes of grass very easily, with fancy windrows and things like that, which this game has added. The Titanium edition has added some incredible gear for doing your lawn mowing simulator. It's definitely got the industrial farming thing down if you want to do that. I love the industrial scale farming on this. I know lots of people like pottering around with the classic mods and just chilling out on that, and that's cool. It's not quite my style of doing things. You do want to play this game a few different ways. You can do the industrial scale farming, but I think if you've played that portion of the game to death, I can understand wanting to do something different. So yeah, setting up for this and the huge amount of money you're making, it's about 50 minutes of selling gear, buying gear and then moving it around. About 5 minutes of lawn mowing, you can start producing huge volumes of wool for quite considerable profit. I'm going to try to get a 5th pallet along that side. Not sure if this is going to work. seen this done on the Farm Simulator forums. Oh, look at that. Oh no. What a disaster. Oh dear. Oh, that was really interesting. That was not what I was expecting. Because of the way the bales are locked on, I picked up the whole trailer. That's pretty cool. It's ridiculous. Oh dear. This is bound to turn into a disaster. Cannot see this going well. So we're trying to fit the wrong Tetris shape to the thing. Does not want to go in on that angle. It's getting worse, but more interesting all at the same time. Let's see how we go with that. Is it locked in place? Who knows? Nope. Dope. Me trying to do the 10 pallet trick. Yeah, that's not bother. I'm too poorly skilled to pull that off. Especially as I didn't even pick the pallet up correctly in the first place. Didn't really help anything. There we go. What? Yeah, I think I might take that trailer in. Otherwise this is going to turn into a disaster. So I've got 3, 6. It's a good attempt. Again, it's a really good demonstration of how the Giants physics engine works in this game. Ultra realism is their thing. And I just had 3 pellets just all fall off. Yep. Oh well. I'm just going to unload this before it turns into more of a disaster. Watching me fail to cunningly load the bale trailer. It's the thing, unless you load them absolutely perfectly, there's no way you're going to fit 10 on there. 8's pretty easy, because you leave a little bit of room between them, but 10, nope, it ain't going to happen. Despite the comedy of all of this, it still makes plenty of money. Even though I had 3 bales just spontaneously fly off for no explainable reason. Things are heading in the right direction. I've almost got enough cash for field 15. Which if you were trying to sow and harvest that tiny little field 16, you'd be going forever. Time acceleration's back up. Pallet loading to do. What's going on there? Oh, you know what's happened? I've clipped through the pallet. If you clip through the pallet with the forks, this is where the stupid thing will drag along like this. Okay. Oh, that's annoying. So I've tried disconnecting the pallet forks. Oh, there we go. Let's fix that. Just flip the pallet around like that. Alright. So yeah, this is the one drawback of doing this, is you will get some funky pallet loading things going on at some point. When you're starting out, you just need the starting cash to get equipment. It's amazingly time efficient, but I think long term you're not going to want to keep doing this, not unless you've got multiplayer and you've got some friends that are good at doing pallet loading, or they like it. But I don't see that happening as a big long term thing. Oh well. So I think when it comes to doing things with forks as well, you do have bales, and probably the most troublesome thing without having an auto, basically an auto bale loader, which there is none without a mod for the round bales. Round bales can be a nightmare in this game. My least favourite thing to deal with. Especially when square bales are actually reasonably good to deal with. But you also get the other thing with square bales, you load them nicely, stick them in a great big pile, and it's still relatively easy to use with forks. for easily loaded bales. There we go. See if I can just ram this one in there. Managed to do that. Okay, time accelerates off. So, despite this, I've still got 2 bales that I haven't loaded because one's clipping through the ground, but that's fine. Bales on their way. Just 34,000 grass left. So the thing is, if you wanted to persist at this for a long time, you could pull in a large amount of money. This is just huge amounts for the effort, for the time. This is a huge amount. Of course, it all slows down if you're doing crops, because you can have time accelerate off an awful lot, but I suppose it'll give you something to do in between the crops so you can pull in even more money, or you just stack up the bale somewhere. That's another thing I'm thinking about, which is the Ursus mod, or Ursus DLC. It's very expensive, but could actually be quite handy for doing a dairy farm. I released that one a little bit early, and -1 critical feature. They didn't really explain that if you take hay and you use a small round baler that comes with the Ursus mod, then you wrap that hay. You can silage it just with the plastic wrapping, so you don't have to put it in a silo. It's sort of like an auto silage machine. That is just such a potentially useful tool for feeding your cows, doing mixed ration. But they didn't really explain that the plastic wrapper turns it into silage. They didn't really advertise the fact strongly that they made an auto-loader for the small round bales. So there's a couple of mistakes there, I think, in the marketing. But just in the coolness of it, yeah, there's definitely some cool, useful things you can do with it. Probably an underrated mod. One that I don't have at the moment, but it's fine. Time accelerate back on. Oh yeah, one of the things that you'll see me doing is I'll load up the pallet and then I'll tip the forks back. Definitely a good way of getting the pallet to stay on there. Sometimes you, if you don't put a bit of angle on it, you can actually create a bit of grief, because you drive along, suddenly stop, and then the pallet will slide off and fall over. It will clip through the ground like that other one. And you've got to spend a bit of time mucking around trying to recover the thing. So you'll see I spend a bit of time just adjusting the forks to try to line them up reasonably, and still do a horrible job because I'm trying to rush it. Next building up there. See if I can flip this other one around. So almost on 289,000. It's actually sorry about that. It's actually a good amount of cash. Good amount of cash because we're over halfway to the goal for setting things up. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this. I'm just going to load it on upside down. This is where you get a bit of comedy going on. But it's a way of clearing the bailout. Bale successfully loaded. Then clip through the trailer. Probably what I'll do, I'm going to turn down the time acceleration and try to take this trailer on these 4 bales. Probably going to be some sort of disaster happen, but you know, that's where it goes. All part of the fun of pallet loading from the sheep. So yeah, I wish this was slightly more interesting for you guys than just watching me messily load pallets, but it's one drawback when you start the game if you want to get some cash together to get cool things. You unfortunately need to spend a bit of time doing some of the more boring parts of the game, but then again, I don't know, at least you're actively doing something. So it's driving perfectly with that pallet embedded in the ground. You know. Oh. Like I say, as long as you're doing something in game, having comedy crashes going on, makes everything way more interesting. Oh yeah, we've got some two-wheel, almost two-wheel sort of trailer action going on there. Yeah, it's sort of, I don't know, some of these boring, grindy activities, you know, might seem terrible, but I don't know, this just makes so much money in game, it's not funny. The fact that it's the most money per volume of crop, but it's also a huge pain, which seems to be the balancing point of it. Everything in every game's balanced to get something. The sort of nightmares of trying to handle these pallets seems to be the cash reward for it seems to be to counteract any potential anger from disastrous pallet handling. Put that time accelerator back on. $326,000. Those of you who are used to playing Farming Simulator will be rather surprised at the amount of cash for such a small amount of equipment, such a small startup game, such simplicity. Whereas I think that Field 16, once you've sewn it with a tiny little sewing machine that you start with, some retro tractor towing it, plus using that awful starting harvester. Like seriously, harvester, yeah, the FAR M66 with a 3.5 meter cutter, that's just a nightmare. One of the great things with this Titanium DLC, or just effectively what is the base game now, is that you get combine harvesters with a 13.5 meter thresher on it. It's just Seriously, the volume of crops you pull on is just incredible. You totally shred whole fields so quickly. Probably the other drawback of the biogas plant, does make good money, makes better money if you've got multiple players, but just running the silage back and forth, tipping it up and having the time accelerate because you've got issues with the bin being full at the biogas plant. Yeah, it's definitely painful pulling in the money for that. It's definitely more painful than doing this. Because I'm actually getting a break in between, or there's enough time to actually pick up some of the bales I've spilled through my clumsiness. I suppose the other thing, I've got the maximum 200,000 loan, I've got this amount of equipment, but I don't know, it's pretty cheap operating. That's something to look at the finances. Previous day, loan interest $280, vehicle running costs $388, livestock expenses $1,238. So, and 115,000 income on the previous day. 2 days ago at 74,000, so operating costs are exceptionally low for what I'm doing. So far I've clocked up $203 and only 3 hours into this day. Very low operating costs. At the 28,000, 29,000 grass in the feeding trough. Shows you how many pallets you get just for not even a trailer full. Not even, given that that's the best forage harvesting. This is the thing I love about the start, is you get some of the best equipment in this category with this tractor and that forage trailer over there. Having both of those, very cool things. Burn through most of the grasses in the feeding trough to actually get the next stage started. Just wish the decent combine harvesters were a bit cheaper. Probably the one thing that is the actual drawback. Sowing and harvesting. Critical functions, both extremely expensive to do nicely. Not bad, 4 bales pallets loaded. Now we'll see if it turns into disaster. I should be able to load 8 without too many hassles in theory. But it seems to be good at proving those theories wrong. Good at the theory I'm making plenty of money. Warehouse high demand for wheat. Oh wow. I knocked the pallet, but it's still on the loading area. So it's still filling up. Come on. Thinking of if I get into the, if I get far enough into the series where I've done some more serious crop management, try to tell you how to figure out, what would be the best crop for getting the most dollars as well. I like to get as much of that information out there just so you can get some more enjoyment out of the game by just cashing up a lot easier. Although I'm sort of wary of the fact that if you make too much cash in this game too quickly, it's gonna kill some of the entertainment for you. Yeah, okay, well, 5 pellets loaded, that's all good. Yeah, I think there is an upper cap to how quickly you can fill the wall. Not somewhere, I think it's around 6,000 or 7,000 sheep somewhere, or 6,700. Someone's actually done the math and actually done the test to see if it works. It does produce wool quite quickly when you've got that many. But yeah, I sort of sticking with the 700 odd sheep because I can sort of cope with the pace of this. Rule of thumb in Farming Simulator, can you cope with the pace of whatever you're doing? In this case, yes. Well, that 6 pellets loaded, it's actually pretty decent. Getting practice with pallet loadings, starting to pay off. It's just shit. I reckon I'll probably get that low end Toots 5465 and the cutter is 230,000. So they need about 480k roughly. I sort of need to remember to sow the darn field as well. There we go, 7 pellets loaded. But borderline. Right, one more. We're going for this 10 pellets, it'll be a nightmare. Litres of grass left. I think I calculated this reasonably well. Should be able to hit the mark with the money on this one. beacons on. Looks good. Not the neatest loading the pellets. Oh, and we just had 3 fall off. Oh well. That's pretty typical of how the session's gone. Things look good and then 3 pellets fall off. It's a repeat of last time. Maybe we'll just stick 6 bales on in the future and stop mucking around. So yeah, definitely not your traditional farm crops and all that side of things, but yeah, more about doing things a little bit differently in this series. Referred to the Titanium Edition as DLC, but if you buy the full game, if you're new to it and you get the full game, you get Titanium DLC included. USA map, definitely one of my favourites, because it's just like large scale stuff. But yeah, the fact that it's included in the base game with all this awesome equipment, it's just a fantastic deal. Currently up to 372,000. Certainly approaching the goal. I think I need to cash in somewhere about 11-12 bales. Yeah, I think the one thing that blows me away slightly is this has been a good approach, because normally things don't happen this fast in farming simulator in terms of cash income. It's not until you start doing massive silage operations with, the sort of corn cutters and things like that, you start getting larger volumes of cash crop coming in, or doing high density crops like sugar beet and potatoes. I found potatoes aren't that fast, but boy, you can, on this big map, you can end up with hundreds of thousands of potatoes, or over 1 million of them. turns into quite a large cash crop quite quickly. Oops. Trying not to do that. What's the easy about loading this trailer now? Oh. Yep. Great. Yep, done it real well. Pallets everywhere. Turn this into such a disaster. I'm gonna have to. I think I'll just cash this in. Oh no. So the hell's on its way as well. Alright, to accelerate off. Let's see what happens with this bale trailer. Got a couple issues going on there. Oh, feeding trough is just under 20,000 litres of grass. Still heaps. I think the other benefit is setting up for sort of sheep farming as well. Quite often you find in Farming Simulator is just a little bit short on cash for someone. It's this you can just try and accelerate and just mow a little bit of grass and suddenly you have an influx of cash that you can use. Sort of influx of cash and get things happening. Whereas, it's like doing things conventionally, missions plus farming, 50 odd hours before I got basically just about every single piece of equipment in the game. 50 hours is a long time. So see if I can fix up these ones. There we go. Oops. I just wish they had a vineyard simulator on this as well. Sheep and cattle, why not grow some grapes as well? Some delicious wine. Oops. Keep doing things like this, I'm gonna get a reputation for being absolutely shocking at this game. Yeah, you don't want to do that. I just about tipped over the tractor. Couldn't see because of the tree, but just about lost control. Things on forks that are heavy and lifted reasonably high. Bad combo. Fuel 14 at auction. Hold on. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go investigate that. It'd have to be a non-ridiculous price, so. It's larger than 15, but I'm afraid sometimes these opportunities do come up. I think it's time for a little mission to Field 14. Get the movement on 409, almost 410,000. Cash in those pallets. Could be quite a considerable sum. There's a little truck doing its rounds. A stunt tractor. Into this one, does this auction end? Carpet 100. Wow. 10 hectares, which is 0.6 of a hectare larger than another one. That's until 10 o'clock tonight. In game time. I think try to put bid. It's a better field. Well, slightly larger. And I might be able to get it cheaper, which means I can get better equipment. Just a much better way of doing things. So just not gonna mess this up. Time accelerate. Or maybe not. Auction could be a way to actually get productivity high pretty early on for less cash. So one of the coolest things in this game, you want all this stuff, it's either an auction or some sort of sale on just when you need something. You know, half the time it's stuff you don't even want, but you know. Yes, they know in field 16, but when it comes to field 16, I don't even like it. Too small, too many trees, and all sorts of problems. Fun when you've got a small gear, but other than that, it's just a pain. Yep, never mind that hail. Alright. 5 bales, so that's good enough. Switched off time acceleration while I'm doing this. Should put me about almost 460k at least of it. Just hopefully bidding on that field isn't too crazy. Field's with 310k, bidding was 150. That'll change. Hopefully it won't be too close to the full price. Not sure if we'll get it. If it is, it'll be too painful. Not sure. But then again, if you look at the amount of cash that I'm hauling around in these bales, everything's affordable. Good. So in this session I've gone from basically about that 80k just from me pottering around starting off to 457k. I don't think I've seen any other videos where people have been doing that except when they've been farming some naked crop at the end of the game and they've been cashing that in. against the clock at full turn acceleration. Still hosing in money while I'm waiting. Munch, munch, munch. Munch, munch. Oh, he's actually eating the troll. Poor thing. And so everyone was visiting my friend on his farm, and the sheep was actually trying to eat the aluminium trim off the table. It looked very delicious. Just the sheep didn't know what aluminium trim was, so they would just have a go eating it because it looked cool. And it's 6 o'clock in game, so that's still it's less than 4 hours to the end of that auction. You note that I'm not rushing to the auction because me bidding in it is probably just going to push up the price. It's just not much point doing anything until it's actually about time. Just so I don't forget about it and make a fool of myself, but you know. Past 7 o'clock. So it's about 9 o'clock. I'll switch the time acceleration down and drove over there. Suppose I'll farm as much wool in the meantime. 8 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock in